kind of went through like COVID, interest rate hikes.
There's a lot of headaches. I would say start now. Like, it doesn't even have to be areas AI. Generally, like you can play around with ChatGPT. You select the areas that you pick and you just kind of wait, right? And the AI does its job. They can't really compete with other folks that are doing it full time, just that part of the business. Going through these type of market changes really just kind of forced us to pursue the areas AI. I think the more you kind of know, the more you figure out, okay, where can I actually implement, where can I actually improve on what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Imagine where, you wake up in the morning, you got glasses on, like the glasses that you have on right now, and it probably have a writing that says, "Good morning," and it will say, so you have these people that want to sell you your properties produced by Airs AI.
Meet Dr. Alula Eton Fisu. From managing 700 prescriptions a day at CVS to transforming real estate investing with AI. This former pharmacist turned entrepreneur experienced the same struggles investors face today. Rising marketing costs, shrinking margins, and countless hours lost to manual deal analysis. His answer? Airs AI.
Within Airs AI, and it would monitor for any for sale by owner, and the AI will contact them and say, hey.
In an industry where speed and efficiency define success, Alula built technology that gives investors a true edge.
You can just have the AI do the A to Z and just keep following up.
His AI doesn't just run 24/7. It thinks, learns, and adapts to market shifts in real time. Here to inspire us.
And I think the more you kind of know, the more you figure out, okay,
Dr. Alula of Airs AI.
Welcome to the Inevitable Cast. This podcast is sponsored by Inevitable Flow AI. We help architecture, engineering, and construction companies generate a consistent flow of qualified project leads using smart AI automations. If you want to book a free consultation to find out more, click the link in the description of the show. Our guest today is Dr. Alula, founder of AI Real Estate Solutions, where he leads the development of an AI-powered platform designed to help real estate investors source, underwrite, and close deals with unmatched speed and accuracy. Transitioning from healthcare background to real estate tech, Alula integrates machine learning, predictive analysis, and automation to drive better risk adjustment investment outcomes. Dr. Alula, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. I would love to know a little bit more about how your background as a pharmacist informed your decision to found AI Real Estate Solutions. What motivated you to build AI-powered tools for the real estate industry?
Okay. Oh man, thank you again. By the way, thank you for having me, and it's an honor to be one of the, the founding guests, right, the podcast as well. So, but thank you for that. Just I guess a bit about myself. Before, I was born and raised in Ethiopia. That's East Africa for the folks that don't know. So when I came to the States, looking for the American dream, trying to make it out there. And the journey that I took was essentially just the pharmacy route. And I wanted to make sure that that I make it for my family, and we make sure that we actually came to this country and prosper, right? Because that's the American dream. But once you kind of, got the tail end of it, where you're finished with pharmacy school and you start making money, you start paying taxes and you figure out, hey man, this is a lot they've taken away from my money, right? So that's essentially really the rise in the interest of how I got into real estate myself. So started off like house hacking, where I would live upstairs and rent the basement where the mortgage would be paid, and ended up owning a couple of rentals. And then eventually kind of started like an operation that does buying and selling of real estate for fixer-uppers, right? So I was kind of like, in the buy and hold space, the flip space, and from a standpoint of like, I don't know if your folks will be know this, so it will be a wholesaling of real estate. Essentially, that's kind of like the one that attracted my attention the most, where it seemed like it was less risk at the time, where you get the property, you resell it, and people pay you for it. And then sometimes, majority of the time, you don't even have to close on the property. And I thought that was awesome, right? But they didn't really tell me about the some of the struggles you get to go through. because it really is essentially for anybody that's in a real estate investment space, where there needs to be some sort of marketing and essentially acquisition engine that keeps deals flowing, right? So you solve that problem for the people that are actually going to go and fix and flip the property, and it's definitely not a easy space to be in because it's very competitive and things of that nature. So, but over the years, since I've been in real estate, I've been full time. I think about to be a little bit over 3 years, but the actual operation itself, we started when I was a pharmacist back in 2017, 2018. And I just kind of went through like COVID, been through interest rate hikes. Now I got government employees getting fired this year. So all these affect the real estate market tremendously, which also affects our inventory for being able to move inventory efficiently. So going through these type of market changes really just kind of forced us to pursue the Airs AI platform that we built out, where it's just kind of like, you get the marketing cost is consistently increasing and the deal sizes are getting squeezed because your investors are essentially like they want to make sure they don't get hurt as well, right? So that really is what kind of gave up to the rise of the Airs AI. Is like, how do we make sure that we're efficiently producing at the same amount or even more without with less resources, because we had to adjust as a result of the economic changes. So that's what gave rise to Airs AI, and we definitely use it. It's been quite instrumental for our business as well. I hope that that was a little lengthy, but I hope that gives you an idea.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's on spot on what the question wanted to get. So aside from the external economical factors that were in play when you made this transition to real estate, how did your background as a pharmacist impacted what you do today?
Okay. I would say it impacted me big time, honestly. So the interesting part about being in pharmacy, I feel like you get to acquire a lot in the workforce. When I joined the workforce, is because you get to learn a lot in pharmacy school. They teach you about all these disease states and medicine, and what is the right medicine for this this disease state versus not, and you get to go through all this, but you really just get to use like a little bit amount of that knowledge, just because the majority of people don't really face all of them anyway. But one of the biggest takeaways for me was the fact that when I started working, I learned to manage people, manage resources, and essentially just because when the first company that I work for is actually CVS Pharmacy. It's one of the most busiest and still relatively successful pharmacy chains in the States, right? And they get to show you how to essentially run an operation with a very busy operation where you would do like 500, 700 prescriptions a day with like maybe a help of 3 or 4 pharmacy technicians. And you get used to like running that type of, unfortunately, chaos. But it is a very chaotic place, and your demand on time is a lot. So you're forced to kind of prioritize. You're forced to be able to manage during a very stressful type of environment. And I feel like that kind of really has grown me, even as a person, as a leader, just from a standpoint of like the type of skill sets that I'm able to bring to the real estate side. But I think that part of it, like especially in the workplace, has really prepared me a lot more to be able to transition now versus like what I actually had in the school. I don't know if that kind of helps give you clarity.
Yeah, definitely. I cannot imagine how stressful it must be to work in a pharmacy and fill out 500 to 600 prescriptions a day.
Yeah, man, it was a grind. I'm not gonna lie, it was quite a grind, but I'm blessed. I'm blessed to say that it was an experience that I went through.
It's in the past now, and now I want to know now, like what does a typical day look like in your life?
Okay, so nowadays is so I divide my work into two. There's a on the business project, as I call it, and there's also in the business project. So, I'm not really a developer or anything like that, but we do have a dedicated developer that kind of helps us design the back end of some of the, projects that we work on. But I have become such an AI enthusiast that the majority of like the prompt engineering that is done on the back end is actually done by me.
and I actually enjoy it. I'm negotiating with an investor, either I'm negotiating with a seller, so I'll be attending those meetings and just kind of pitch them an offer. So it's like it goes back between in the business and outside of the business. Where in the business I'm in sales, outside of the business is kind of like more of a system design type of day. But early in the morning, I got 2 kiddos. Before I get to the kiddos, I try to wake up around 5:30 to 6, God willing. And I'm a man of faith as well. Got to make sure that I'm right with God first. That's kind of like the routine that I go through. Then after that, some days I started picking up running, which is good. It kind of helps me bring sanity to myself sometimes. Then really just I join the chaos of I to the kiddos a little bit, then off to work. I usually have morning meetings. Then that's essentially kind of like my routine normally.
Amazing.
Mm.
You mentioned a few times about Aries AI and bringing deals and opportunities to you. I wonder if you can walk us through like how Aries AI works, how it transforms like the like manual underwriting workflows into like automated processes. Like what is the value that it brings to you right now?
I mean, this was back in the day. So we like one of our biggest places that we acquire deals actually from the MLS, like where it's an open market, right? So if you can, if you catch them at the right time, you can really just get them discounted, and it doesn't even have to be like auction or anything like that. It can just be a regular listing. So one of the biggest places is like MLS, right? So we acquire deals on the MLS. Let's say that we did a market research for a certain market, and we figure out that we want to pick up a certain type of criteria in property. What we would do is we would actually plug in those locations within Aries AI, and it would monitor for any for sale by owner or the listings. Like listings is really just a huge source for us, so we go after the listings. And the AI will contact them and say, hey, would your seller entertain an offer and with the price point that we're looking for? And it will go through like more of like a kind of like a pre-qualification process. Then once that's done, the AI will come in. The second phase is just kind of pre-qualifying. And this is a pre-qualifying, not really just based off of like what is like just like the writing and just specific numbers. It will be a very specific underwriting with actual live comps. Like it will take in the pictures of the actual listing and analyze it and say, hey, this property has an HVAC that's outdated, kitchen is outdated, roof looks like it needs repair. So it will come up with a classification based on the actual what it sees, right, on the listing itself. Then based on that, it will send a letter of intent. The letter of intent right now, we want to send it ourselves based on the just kind of like we want to just kind of see a human in the loop type of way, but you literally can just have the AI do the A to Z. And when they say, yes, I'm entertaining it, or maybe let's say they say they're not right now, they can just keep following up until they are, right? And this is very kind of like back in the day, if you're marketing to any type of person, it would be like a very generic like drip campaign. But now you have the ability to like even look at the listing and say, hey, I still see you haven't sold it. Do you want to entertain now, right? Or something where that is more specific to the person. So it just makes it a lot more, just makes it a lot easier. So this used to be for people's jobs. Like it will be an admin that will collect the list of the listings, would underwrite. That will be another person. That will be another person that will have the conversation, and there will be a fourth closer to be able to actually speak with them. So that's like 4 people's job. That is essentially one tool essentially taken care of. So, and that was like, at least that has to be like 45,000 in payroll every month at a minimum. So that's essentially what it took care of, like for us. And yeah, that's essentially kind of like high level what you're able to see. And this can happen, let's say you have your own marketing channel. You have Facebook chat, or we actually give you physical data for sale by owner as well. Like all those will be pre-qualified the same way. You can either direct it to an appointment, or you can just send them an offer the way you like it. That's how we structure it.
Okay, that's very interesting. And so what do you think like the main pain points that like real estate clients are encountering whether it's like deal sourcing or
Mhm.
valuation accuracy or the speed of execution. And how does Ares AI address those challenges?
No, that's fair. I think one of the biggest challenges I would say that like the real estate investors are like kind of facing is really because if you're imagine it like if you're an actual like flipper like that is picking up properties and flipping, a lot of times your schedule is probably going to be packed with managing the actual project itself. There's a lot of headaches, and because you probably will scroll through, I don't know, some emails that you would get late night and just kind of make a decision that way. That's usually because they're so busy, right? And even when they decide to kind of like take control of the acquisition process, to get better deals, whatever the case is, they can't really compete with other folks that are doing it full time, just that part of the business, right? So because they're not quick enough, or they can't respond, they can't underwrite quickly, they have to take their time. I mean, maybe wait for a realtor to respond to them, or even if they actually have a dedicated buyer's agent that's like helping them do all that. A lot of times it's just the nowadays with the regulations that are happening and things of that nature. People want to get paid, then they want to make sure they get paid, and they want to tie you down so that you don't actually work with anybody else. So that all those things are kind of like coming into play where it is a ripe opportunity for an AI to do some of that work for them, right? For an investor to essentially just be able to have an AI as a buyer agent for them. Um, I think it's definitely like with the Airs AI being in play, like with any investor that's going to be able to actually implement that, like I think it will be a huge game changer for them, because you don't actually have to worry about as much about acquiring the deals. Because believe it or not, we actually could get like a lot of off-market opportunities from the same people. Because if the listing doesn't work out, the AI is trained enough to say, "Hey, do you actually have anything else that you're looking for?" And it will underwrite it the same way, and you just kind of like present it. So, so it does. It definitely presents a good opportunity for them to be able to get a hold of their deal sourcing, essentially. Um,
Right. And
you
even
know,
get some of their time back, right? Because like if they
oh,
have
big
to
time.
manage the whole flip plus go and find new flips, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a cycle. It's a cycle that you keep going through. Yeah.
I mean, there is no question that AI is here to, change some paradigms and like, you know, change our lives basically. And I wanted, you have an interesting story about the name of your company, and I wanted like, how do you foresee the future of AI in real estate evolving over the next 5 to 10 years? Like, what emerging like technologies or capabilities are you most excited about?
I think like one of the biggest capabilities, the fact that like I mean we the AI's ability to be able to essentially underwrite based on pictures. That's fairly new because like they this that means that the AI had to be like capable to recognize a multimodal type of input, right? That I was pretty excited about that when we kind of made it available. But I think when it comes to like the future itself is like imagine where you wake up in the morning, you got glasses on, like the glasses that you have on right now, and it probably have a writing that says "Good morning," and it will say, "So you have these people that are want to sell you your properties, produced by Airs AI, and you have this project that's coming up. This is like becomes a personal assistant, and I don't know if you watched the movie Her. It's kind of like I feel like we're heading that direction. I think that's the direction that it's going, where it becomes your personal assistant. It knows you well enough where it becomes a little scary sometimes, right? And I think the movie took it a little bit too far, where they're falling in love and all that. That's crazy. But I'm saying that's not too far fetched, to be honest. Uh, but I think that's the direction that AI is going towards. I think that's what they're pushing it towards, where it really just becomes everybody has their own assistant, and your ability to essentially execute on what you're trying to do a lot it becomes a lot easier to be able to do that. So that's a future where It's definitely going to get rid of a lot of jobs. That's the future. That's definitely going to have to demand a lot of people to innovate and just kind of like essentially get with the times, right? Because this is essentially as like a discovery of electricity. I think that's how big it is. So, the ones that use it, I feel like will definitely come out on top on the opposite end. But I think that's the biggest update I would say that I'm excited for is really just that the capabilities of these AI is improving. Like 1 minute I would think that it's actually has hit the ceiling, and then I get surprised even more. So, but the fact that it just becomes very seamless, the integration becomes seamless. I think I'm excited for that, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I think I agree with everything that you said there. Is agentic AI solutions is really a game changer, I think, and we'll start seeing a lot of billion-dollar companies with 1 employee, 2 employees, all driven by AI.
Scary, wasn't it?
Scary, but it's definitely real and in the making
reality,
as we speak, right? And I wonder, like, Alula, for you, how do you balance innovation and growth at your company? Specifically when you're like scaling operations while also maintaining technological excellence, because you're not only like developing Ares AI, but you're also still doing the real estate side of your business.
I am, yeah.
Right? Like, how do you balance this?
I'll be honest, it's not easy, and I'm a dad too. On top of that, I got 2 kids that run around. It is not easy, man. I'll be honest, it is not easy to kind of find that balance. But just this deal sourcing aspect of it, the AI definitely helps. Where I'm really just kind of I'm cherry picking the deals I want to get involved or the opportunities I'm kind of. So it helps. It helps when it's being brought to you versus you just kind of like going hunting for them, right? And the Ares AI side definitely helps with that. So I'm trying to I'm trying to really just kind of finish that side maybe by like 2:00 every day, just to kind of like lock up a deal. That's kind of like my goal, and everything else is really just kind of like I dedicate the rest of my day. But I think from anybody that's trying to grow an operation, though, I think like your eyes or your focus should always be in sales. I think that should take priority over anything, because especially in the business side of it, because if you can't make sales, you can't survive, right? So I try to prioritize sales more than anything else. If I can't meet sales quota of some sort, everything is taking a back burner essentially. That's kind of like how I prioritize.
Right.
Really just and my sales right now is really just our buying and selling real estate. And Ares AI, we do it in kind of like more of on a waiting list. So that part has its own structure. But specifically on the real estate side is really just, I want to make sure that's kind of like gets majority of my attention.
That's, as a business owner, your time needs to be in either acquiring more deals or keeping the good deals, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the most important tasks you can do for your business as a business owner. Of course, there are many other ones there are, but those two will actually help your business stay alive. The boat stay afloat. Otherwise, nothing else matters.
No, man, you're gonna fire everybody.
Yeah, exactly. What is, as like, seeing it from like a successful business owner point of view, like what is a frequent misstep that you see real estate firms making when they're implementing predictive analysis and trying to make sense of a deal? How do you think they can avoid this early on?
Like implementing AI into their predictive, like you talk about like an underwriting and things, correct?
Yeah, I mean, what step do you often see people making along the way of making sense of a deal?
Oh, I see. Okay. So if it's well, I think it might be like two-part question, but so from a standpoint of AI involvement in, I don't see a lot of people doing that, I'll be honest. So I think I don't even see a whole lot of conversations. I think there is a few like tools out there, but they usually just kind of like just doing one thing usually, right? but I want to say that it's fairly in a very few stages, like early stages, when it comes to like AI driven underwriting specifically. Um, that that's purely AI, not just like it's like not like a decision tree of some sort where people are kind of getting to that. That's just math, right? So
Exactly.
um, that's I feel like that's still at the early stages to a certain extent. But I do see a few companies that are getting up there and trying to improve that, at least from the ones that I've been exposed to. I'm pretty sure the Fortune 500s. I hope they have done it by now. But but just from an underwriting specifically in this type of market that we're dealing with right now is just like you have to really just kind of see your windows to be like in the past 6 months of sales, like comparable sales versus like like a whole year. Your ability to kind of like make decisions can really drastically change, like from a standpoint of your projections in the next 2-3 months, based on what our president makes a decision on, right? So, or our interest rate, it might get better or it might not. And it's a very volatile market. That's a result of it. And we're in Maryland, which is DC, right across. We're very close to it, as we're one of those markets that have been greatly affected by that. So, I want to say is the few things that I've seen is just that, and I promote 100% is this is definitely the market to be ultra conservative when you're kind of underwriting. Um, yeah, if you're conservative when you're underwriting, I think you will definitely be okay. And if anybody that's like looking for a fixer upper type of project they're trying to get into, I would go into projects that are maybe have like a 3 to 4 month lifespan versus that you'll be in and out in 3 to 4 months versus something that takes like I don't know 12 months or something crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As what's working well? What is working well for you right now, and what has been frustrating?
What has been working well? AirSAI has been working well. The AirSAI, it really has, like it helps us, but big time. I just locked up another property this morning in a very nice part of town. But let me see. So what has been working well? Outside, other than that, I'll be honest, it's really just we've been really focused on the AirSAI side, and we has a lot of our attention. So like that part of it where a lot of the people don't even know they're talking to an AI, and before they actually get to me, which it makes my life a lot easier, and it just makes the business a lot more fluid, a lot more consistent. So I know I'm plugging in AirSAI, but it really has. That's the reality that I'm seeing right now.
That's it. Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
And the frustrating aspect, I would say, is we are trying to, like, especially the media side. The media side is something that I'm kind of like trying to improve on, and we're trying to get AI into that, so that my time can also be utilized to the max. That has been a little frustrating. Where it's like you keep up with one tool, and it's like huh?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. When you're focusing on like growing your business, Alula, what key metrics are you focusing on improving? What metrics are you looking at every day or every week and wishing you're going to working to improve that?
I'll be honest, it's cash. Cash is really where my metrics is. But more of maybe like that's more of like I guess a lagging indicator in a way, but a leading indicator I would say is really just kind of conversions, I guess. Like how many appointments am I converting to a contract? I look at my conversions a lot. And in real estate it matters. Like let's say if we put under contract like 8 properties and we only closed about 4 or 5, like what happened to the 3? Why didn't we close on those 3? To make sure like we actually close on all 8. So I would say that would be my metrics right now, where I'm just trying to make sure my time is efficient, the team's time is efficient as well. So I would say the conversions I really do look at. That has gotten a lot more of my attention.
Where do you see like yourself and the company in the next 6 to 12 months? Is there anything you're excited about?
No, I'm actually getting excited, man. I'm getting excited to see like Airs AI growing, and we're slowly kind of like we have a waiting list now. It's nice to also see people's excitement for the tool as well. So once we have a lot more people, just coming in and just kind of being able to have testimonials from them and having success, I'm really just generally excited for that. Um, and we wanna make sure that people that are coming through the doors also have success. So that's something I'm excited about. I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing that.
Amazing, amazing. I would be curious to know if you could give like a piece of advice to a real estate investor who wants to start leveraging AI and data-driven tools today. What would be the advice to them?
I would say start now. Like, it doesn't even have to be Airs AI. Generally, like you can play around with ChatGPT and just kind of get a hang of like how things are. We like our tool just makes things a lot more streamlined, where it generally becomes an agentic platform where you select the areas that you pick and you just kind of wait, right? And the AI does its job. But I think it is. I think the worst thing that you can do for yourself right now in this type of market is really just sit in the sidelines and just wait and see what happens with AI, because it doesn't really matter what you're doing. So I'm pretty sure there are tools out there that will literally, like that will help you kind of like, take pictures and come up with rehab estimate or something simple. That's an app idea right there, to be honest, right? Or just something simple that makes your life a lot easier and buy back your time as well, right? Like as an investor. So and that's kind of like how we designed the tool to kind of like really just work around that principle of like, okay, how do we save time, how do we save resources? And AI definitely enables you. Like I literally have a custom GPT that checks contracts for me because I go through contracts a lot, like, and I submit contracts to it. And instead of me just going through line by line to figure out like if my contract is good, it just tells me, okay, this says missing this, is missing that. Makes my life a lot easier, right? That saves me, I'm pretty sure, a solid 3 to 4 minutes. When combine that with over 10 contracts, it adds up. That's an hour, right, at a minimum. So that's something just as simple, right? And I think it's definitely, and any investor, any real estate, I think it's time for people to make sure that they are involved and they are in the know, so that they're not going to be left behind. That's essentially. And I think the more you kind of know, the more you figure out, okay, where can I actually implement, where can I actually improve on what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. I think that will come as well.
That is so well said. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, really well said. Alula, it sounds like you've had an incredible journey so far.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. As we're still in the journey, but it's a fun journey. It's a fun journey. We're writing it.
Exactly. If you had like a magic wand to fix one thing that is slowing you down, what would it be?
Man, so this is the thing. So this right here, I'm not used to this. So this is something that I am not very well comfortable with. Like I've always used to being in behind the screen and doing what I need to do to make things work. But everybody says I gotta show my face out there. So that's something that, if I put magic wand, and maybe have an AI do it for me. but that's essentially like, but I think, it's understandable though. People want to really see who's the person behind the product. And I see that's where trust comes from as well. So that would be the one thing. but I have come to terms with it. So I'm gonna have to pass on the magic wand on that one and just kind of, just go all in, with the marketing side.
For what it's worth, you did great today, and I'm sure that you will do great with
thank you
as well. If you allow me,
thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up, okay? Alula, thank you for your time. I really appreciate all the insights and the experience that you shared with us today. Very, very insightful. And that brings us to the end of this episode. This podcast is sponsored by Inevitable Flow. We help architecture, engineering, and construction firms generate a consistent flow of qualified project leads using AI-powered outbound systems so they can grow revenue without hiring a sales team or relying on unpredictable referrals. If you want to book a free consultation to find out more, click the link in the description of the show. I'll see you next time.